Morning on today's update, Charla Nash. She's the woman who was viciously attacked by a chimpanzee in Connecticut back in 2009. Well, now more than 2 years later, she has a new lease on life thanks to an extraordinary surgery. We will speak to her daughter in just a moment, but first, NBC's Jeff Rawson is in Boston this morning with the exclusive story. Jeff, good morning.
Hey, Ann, good morning to you. Look, it's a miracle that Charla Nash survived that chimp attack in the first place a couple of years ago. Travis the chimp literally ripped off her entire face, and both of her hands, left her blind in both eyes. But this morning, a new miracle inside this hospital in Boston behind me. Charla Nash just got a new face. It's a transplant that's been kept secret until now. Inside this Boston operating room, they're making history. The first ever face and double hand transplants in the U.S. It is a major milestone for Charla Nash, a loving mother who looked like this until she was attacked by a chimp and left so seriously disfigured she wore a veil. Charla spoke with NBC News just weeks before her life-changing operation.
Getting my face and hand together. That would be nice. All in one. Being able to do everything on my own.
It is a risky surgery that took 20 hours and more than a dozen of the country's top doctors.
Transplanting face and hands together is really unparalleled quest. Just the complexity of itself, logistically and surgically, I think makes it probably the most challenging thing we can do these days.
Charla isn't revealing her new face to the public just yet, so we're blurring the image. She's still healing. These new photos were taken as her family saw her new face for the first time. By her bedside, her brother Steve and Charla's teenage daughter, Brianna. It's been a long and difficult road for all of them. 2 years ago, Charla was visiting her friend who had a pet chimp named Travis. Without warning, that chimp went on the attack. It was as violent as it gets. The chimp took off Charla's lips, ears, nose, mouth, and hands. Travis's owner called 911.
He's killing my friend!
Who's killing your friend?
Chimp, my chimpanzee!
Oh, your chimpanzee is killing your friend.
He ripped her apart, hurry up!
Charla's been in treatment ever since and will never see again, permanently blind. But she keeps fighting.
You're going slow.
What? I'm kind of slow?
Meredith Vieira met with Charla last June at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston.
So why didn't you give up?
Everybody here and my daughter, thinking about her.
But just days after her historic surgery, there were complications. Doctors had to remove her transplanted hands. Another obstacle for a woman who's been through so much.
The thing I hated about waiting is not being home somewhere. But otherwise, I can wait. I just wanted to be home, not in a facility.
Charla is a fighter. Even with that complication from the surgery, she is not giving up on new hands. Doctors say they can try again for a double hand transplant, but have to wait at least 6 months for her to heal. One other note, Ann, about the face transplant itself. Please keep in mind, for Charla Nash, this isn't just about cosmetics. For the first time since the attack, she's going to be able to do things that you and I take for granted. She'll be able to smell again and eat solid food again. Again, things we all do every single day, but she has not been able to do since the attack. Doctors say it's hard to say when she'll be able to do all those things because every patient heals at a different pace.
All right, Jeff Rawson, thank you so much for your reporting on this morning. And Charla Nash's daughter, Brianna, is here for an exclusive interview to let us know how her mom is doing. And also in Boston, we're joined by Dr. Bodan Pamahak. He's the Charla Nash's surgeon from Brigham and Women's Hospital. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you, Doctor. But first, let's start with you, Brianna, because, you know, what an emotional whirlwind this has been for you. You've been able to see your mom's face. How does she look?
She looks fantastic. Like, you'd never believe that something like that could be done. She looks just like anyone else.
Mm-hmm. When you first saw her face, it must have been very meaningful to you. Can you remember that very moment?
It was so good to see that she can have an experience just like everyone else, and I'm just so excited for her to learn to use it and just let it become a part of her.
I know, Doctor, the surgery took, as I understand it, 20 hours, 14 surgeons working simultaneously at multiple sites, and I understand that we have animation now from your hospital, Brigham and Young, that gives us an idea of how this happened. Can you explain how this transplant actually worked?
Yes, we took tissues from the donor that included the skin, underlying muscle of the entire face, but also the nerves that power it and provide sensation, and the upper palate. And the whole unit was transplanted on Charla's after the defect was recreated.
And this is the first time there has been a transplant transplanting both the face and the hands in the United States. So your mom is making history.
That's correct.
Can you tell us, Brianna, does she look anything like she used to look? I mean, do you have a sense about that?
It was a little swollen, so it's still hard to tell, but her nose doesn't look so different from how it was before, and the structure is taking to her facial structure underlying.
So doctor, because people are going to want to know, is she going to look like, will she have the face of the donor because of the transplant?
Everything indicates, based on what we know, that she will not resemble the donor. She will be looking like someone a little different than she was before the accident, but different than the donor.
And what has your mom said about all this, Brianna?
I don't know yet. I haven't been able to speak to her yet.
She's not been able to see her own face. She's in ICU now,
right,
recovering.
Right,
so,
I have yet to speak to her. When I went, she was still sedated.
But she was excited going into this. Did she talk about what she was looking forward to, what it meant to her to have this opportunity?
She just really wants to gain her independence, and that's so important to her, and this is just a very large step in that process where she can be independent and become a part of our community again.
I know that the doctor and you, everyone wants to protect the identity of the donor's family, so you're not even talking about when the surgery happened, but I know that there was a statement released by your family thanking everyone who's helped your mother. Is there anything you would like to say to the donor family this morning?
Just that what they've done for us has really just bettered my mom's life and my life, and just it's a big step for my mom to recovery and normalizing.
You know, you're a great girl. And I know Meredith, who's cared so much about your mom, is cheering this morning, along with everyone else listening, because of our covering these stories all these years. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having
She's
me.
now just past her college freshman year. Brianna, congratulations on that. And Doctor, thank you so much for joining us and for all your work, and we look forward to hearing how Charla's doing.
My pleasure.
All right, and coming up,